Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another cool pinball video for you this evening. We have been working on this Williams Tri-Zone pinball from 1979. We just got it all finished up. We figured we'd film a little video of it to document what the thing was like as of 2019. So 40 years have passed, if I'm doing my math right. 40 years have passed, and we've got this thing back up and running. We're working on a bunch of Williams stuff right now. We fixed up this firepower. We've done this Tri-Zone, and our next one is this Williams Phoenix. This one's in pretty rough shape. But with that said, the back glass isn't bad, and the Playfield's pretty good. So we'll have that one coming up soon. We've been getting a lot of stuff ready for Christmas, so we've got a little selection of games over here starting to come along. But next up, our latest adventure, Williams Tri-Zone. So let's focus on this one. We bought this off a gentleman not too long ago. Actually, we haven't had it that long, and it was already in decent shape. We cleaned it up a little bit, got it running. It had some problems with the typical problems on a Williams. I think this is a system 4. The typical problems where the connector between the CPU and the driver board. We also did a video on this about the displays when we were fixing the displays, and they, as you can see, turned out really nice. We've had one of these before. I don't know how well it really sold, but they do pop up. It's got nice cabinet art. A couple people in a hover jet or something. Remember, this is post Star Wars, so people had already seen a lot of that. Look at the cool mirrored back glass. Pretty neat. We had to touch up the paint on a lot of the back glass, but the cabinet itself just looked like this. Another thing I wanted to point out, we have it sitting right next to this firepower, but yet the firepower, the stance on it is different. I kept looking at it and looking at it, and I finally figured out it has something to do with the bolts on the back. See how on this one the leg bolts are a little higher up the cabinet, and on firepower they're a little lower on the cabinet. It's like there was an extra lower bolt hole or something on firepower, or that's how they set it up. So the top bolt on firepower is about where the bottom bolt is on their other ones. So that leaves you with a head that's lower than the head on firepower. Isn't that crazy? So it's just a little, and I guess they did that so on firepower it would be a little more steep. Of course, we've got the legs all jacked out too, but really, if you measure those holes, the whole cabinet sits a little higher on firepower, at least the back of it. So let's check out this back glass. Look at this thing. It's all mirrored, so there's mirrors all over it. It's one of the most, well, that's a tough word to say. One of the most mirrored one of the most reflective back glasses I think we've ever had. There's parts of it like this where it's just a big old mirror. Look at that. It's actually a very nice looking back glass. It has a little gradient in the background. See if I can get close enough for you to see that. Yeah. See how it's a mirror, but it has like little red spots on it. So instead of going with a solid color, they went with like a gradient, which means that even more of it has that reflective look to it. Very cool. Whenever we got it, a lot of the stuff had flaked away. Some of it is still flaked away. I believe that would have been like a bright yellow at some point, but it had faded to almost like a what you see here. It's almost like a white. So we just left it. We didn't try to touch that up with paint. We did clear coat the whole back of the back glass. It's triple thicked, so it won't get any worse. But then we had to touch up things. So we had to touch up the girl's costume a little bit. The guy's blue suit was almost completely flaked away, so we painted most of that back in. So, you know, it isn't perfect, but since it's such a busy back glass, there's so much artwork on it that it's harder to notice the little brush strokes and stuff where we painted it back in. And a lot of it was still there. So, like for instance, the green, all of that's original, of course. And on that side. So let's look at it. So it says Williams Tri-Zone. And there is a big, like a, it looks like they're in a city or something. So there's this circular walkway with like a window where it lights up, says highest score. And then over here, there's like a stained glass window almost. And then on this side, you've got the same thing. You've got a window there. Similar windows. And it's like a big, I would imagine that's like some kind of building. And then you have this ribbon here coming from the back, which it turns out is some kind of road. There's a car on it, and it continues along and goes past these people, and or I guess maybe, yeah, it goes past them. And here's another one over here. So it's like this race car is going along this mirrored track. Okay, and I'm trying to get the perspective right. You got some little people down here walking around. You have the 1979 copyright on it. Right, so these are more home, like buildings or whatever. And then in the front, it's dominated by these curvy figures here. So you got this girl here. I call her Batwoman. You got this dude here. The red lipstick I accidentally put on there. That wasn't on there originally. I was going around trying to touch up the red, and I thought that was flaked. So I thought, oh, the lips are probably red. Whoops. The girl here. So what's going on with this? What the hell is happening here? Did the guy get caught by his wife out with on a joyride with a girlfriend or something? Look, she looks absolutely terrified. Becky, I swear, Becky, we were just talking. All right, and then you got these people over here. She's got this cool earring on. Look at that. And I think she's wearing cowboy boots. Cowgirl boots. But it's in my opinion, very nice back glass. This one unfortunately isn't in perfect shape, but if you had one in nice shape, that's a really cool looking back glass, in my opinion. I like it a lot. Okay, so let's check out the Playfield. So the Playfield, if you look on the Internet Pinball database, you'll see that there was actually different artwork whenever this was first designed, and it was completely different. It wasn't anything like this. The inserts and things were in the same place, but the actual art was completely different. So for whatever reason, they completely threw that in the trash and completely redid the whole thing. And I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, it's not the most awesome artwork ever, but it has this. There is this weird little. I guess it's their vision of the highway of the future. So if you see. This person's coming out on that ship, but they're coming out of a tube. So there's like a tube that curves around, back up to there, and then back down here. And then coming out of this end of the tube, a car is going the other way. So I'm glad they didn't hit each other. That would have been horrible. There's a car coming out of the tube over here. And then you have these, you know, kind of space buildings in the background, and everything has little dots everywhere to kind of fill in the large spaces. So that's kind of cool. Oh, and then you have these Unabomber looking guys as the drop targets. And then the colors on the plastics are really nice. It's like pink and green and yellow, and very cool. Really kind of lightens up the playfield a little bit. And then you have this other awesome figurine over here. And the spinner is just a simple little bullseye with a smash on the back. Let's see if it works. You know, a good spinner, when you spin it, gives you a little show. Kapow. Okay. Let's read the instructions, because as you know, every game's more fun if you read the instructions. Instructions. Insert coin and wait for machine to reset before inserting coin for next player. I don't know why they say that on a solid state game, but they keep saying it. All these early ones that I'm getting, it says that. Tilt penalty is the ball in play. The tilt does not disqualify a player. And they put that on there because back in the day, some of the games, if you tilted it, you lost your whole game. Making A and B increases the bonus value from 2 times to 5 times. So here's the bonus ladder, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, it did not say that. I read that wrong. It says making A and B increases bonus value 2x to 5x. So it's saying 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x are the bonus value, and you increase that by making A and B. A and B are the top 2 rollovers. You know, I just noticed this is a lot. This is similar to the layout of what is that famous Gottlieb Target Alpha. It's similar to that layout. I need to look that up. Is this a big Target Alpha ripoff? It may be. the rollovers just reminded me of it. Making A and B increases bonus value 2x to 5x. Making TRI, remember this is called Trizone, making TRI scores the lit value. Special scores 50,000. I set it up where the special score is an extra ball. Okay, making TRI scores the lit value. So here the lit value, as it says, making TRI scores 3, 5, 10, extra ball, or special. TRI, how do you do that? How do you make TRI, people? Here we go. All right, so T is the left spinner lane. R is this little hideaway lane that you can really, well, I guess you could hit it with the flipper. Yeah, you can get it with the flipper, but you're probably going to get it with the pop bumpers. So if you go up through there, through that little ball gate, and you hit that, that's your R. And then I is the right lane, but there is no spinner. Making zone drop targets lights 1 to 4. 1 lights the spinner. Okay, so so you got these 4 drop targets: Z, O, N, and E. Now these, see how it says 10,000 when lit? That random, that goes around. It's not random, it's in order. So this one will be lit, and then after a second or two, this one will be lit, and then after a second or two, that one will be lit. So if you hit it right as it's lit, you get 10,000 points. But when you get the first drop target, it lights the spinner, so, which gives you 200 points when lit. That's a lot, people. Don't discount that. Second drop target lights the top eject hole to 10,000. All right, so it's 5,000 but it's 10,000 when lit. Look at that. Look at that eject hole. It's so deep. I can't believe that thing is not in worse shape than it is. You'd think that ball would have just ate that alive, because it's not even chamfered or whatever they call it on the sides. Not even beveled. The third drop target lights drop targets for 10,000 each. Okay. The fourth one lights the out lanes alternately for special. Special when lit. Special when lit. Alright, so you want to build up your bonus, I guess. How do we build up our bonus? Advance the bonus with these two rollovers. You advance the bonus with the top two rollovers. You advance the bonus with your in lane and your other in lane. Yeah. So I guess we're just going to go for a score on this one. There's no like, there's no clear. I guess trying to get all four drop targets is kind of a thing, and beating up the three pop bumpers will be a thing. So we'll play it. We'll see what we can do. Let me get the tripod. We'll set it up, and we'll see what kind of action we can get out of this thing. That noise you're hearing is our, we've got some of those blow up Santa Claus things for Christmas in the background, so you can hear the little air thing. But I have turned up the volume on this Tri-Zone. This Tri-Zone features Williams' first soundboard. Looking at the schematics, it's actually their second soundboard, but it's just the second revision of the first soundboard. So I don't know what the real difference is. The layout's a little different. If you look at the schematics for like this and Flash, you see this rectangular soundboard that people that work on these are probably familiar with. But there's another one just like that that's also rectangular that was used on the first 3 or 4 games. So I'm wondering if the difference was that by the time they did Flash, they needed like a bigger ROM or something to do the background sound or something. I don't know, but this board has 2 fuses on it. This soundboard has 2 fuses on it, and the earlier one, it seems like, just had 1 fuse on it. So whatever. But it's Williams' early soundboard with their early electronic sounds. So let's give it a try. And I'll let you know the scores that we get. What? Nice spinner. Oh, that middle one's a sucker shot. I might not ought to do that again. If you go up that right lane like that, you miss that rollover a lot. It actually flows pretty good. Oh. All right, we're at 60,000. we'll get the hang of it a little bit, and then we'll try some strategy maybe. The volume of some of the sounds isn't balanced very good, but I think that's probably because it's just designed like that. There's really no way to change that. It was one of their early, like that's really loud when some of the other sounds are nowhere near that loud. It really kind of flows kind of nice. It's got some nice loops and stuff. And these are Bally's old school flippers. I mean, I keep saying Bally. These are Williams old school flippers. But even their old ones are really powerful. I mean, I rebuilt them. So they have new plungers and stuff, but they are strong. I don't know if they operated at a different voltage or something. Oh, okay, I see what's going on. This is a two-player game. We'll talk about that here in a minute. I've got this set on free play. So that was the third ball, but it's only the second ball of the first player. I think everything's working pretty good. That was a slick little shot there, wasn't it? This thing's set up pretty good, really. Whenever we film these, we're really kind of doing like a test play, you know, so that we make sure that it's ready to sell to someone for their game room. But it's a good opportunity to get a good video out of it too. Okay, so that's ball 2 on player 2. We've got, this is ball 3 on player 1, 135,000. Player 2 has 148,000. The flippers are nice and strong. I might set the back legs up a little more. See if we can make it play even faster. I mean, it's playing plenty fast now, though. But hey, if you got that power, you might as well use it, right? Oh, I was looking at the score. All right, so we got 193,000 on player 1, and we got 157,000 on player 2. So the reason that it started a two-player game is interesting. If you have more than one credit on the machine, these things, for whatever reason, the start button on these, it'll do that. So I've got it set on free play. The Williams games had a built-in free play that you could turn on. And so if you turned on the maximum number, if you turned the maximum number of credits in the settings to 0, it set it on free play. As opposed to the Bally games that didn't have a free play and the Gottlieb games that did not have a free play. But what you could do on those was, or on this if you wanted to, you didn't need to though because this had a free play, you could set the score that you win a free game on to like 10,000 points. So you would immediately win a free credit as soon as the game started. And then you could add 20 or 30 credits to the game, and it would hardly ever run out of them because if you ever scored 10,000 points, you'd get your credit back. So it's kind of a poor man's free play. But these Williams games actually had a free play, and the way their switches work or whatever, for whatever reason, they're especially on the start button, it seems like their switches kind of bounce. So I guess whenever you press it, as you're pressing the switch, and this is all happening, you know, 50 times a second or whatever, but as the switch is pressing together, you know, the way it senses it is it's strobing on that one switch, and then whenever the other switch touches it, as it is about to touch it, it sends a signal, and then as it's touching it, it sends another signal, and then as it opens, it sends another signal. So my whole point is, when you hit the start button, it doesn't just give you one game. Sometimes if it's on free play and you have enough credits, sometimes when you hit the start button, it'll start 2 or 3 games, 2 or 3 players, because it thinks you hit it more than once. If you're playing it by putting a quarter in, you put the quarter in, you get 1 credit. You hit start, it may still think that you hit the button 2 or 3 times, but it only gives you 1 game. It only plays a 1-player game because you've only got 1 credit on it. So I'm going to try to hit it real fast and see if we can start a 1-player game. Okay, yeah, I think we're just a 1-player game now. And I've got it set where if you get 200,000 points, you win a free ball. See how the 10,000 when lit is bouncing around in front of the drop targets? Oh, we'll talk about the drop targets here in a minute too. Oh, missed it. I was trying to time it with the light. But see how the light just moves on to the 4th drop target that's already down? Stuff like that is just, simplistic coding. At the time, stuff like that really hadn't been done that much because on EM machines, you didn't program them like that to do that. So, oh, I missed it. So this was all new, like all the coding and everything was new. So whoever the gentleman or the gentlewoman was that coded this one, that was pretty wild. Whoever coded this one came up with that neat little concept of they'll make the that light bounce around, but it's not sophisticated enough to know that the drop target's down, so it's still lighting up the ones that are already knocked down. Oh, I missed it. I hit it, but it didn't hit it dead. This is not a bad little game. It's kind of simple, but it flows good. The flippers are good. It's got drops. It's got pop bumpers. It's got a spinner. All the stuff everybody likes. Now, Williams was known for having on these first generation solid state ones. So this would be Williams System 3, 4, 6, and 7. I think this is a System 4. It might be a System 6. But I think it is a System 6. On these early Williams solid state ones, their drop targets weren't really all that great. The things it just wasn't the greatest design. And the reason for that is because all of the pinball companies were getting patents on every little thing they could. So they couldn't make the drop targets the way Gottlieb did it. They couldn't make the drop targets the way that Bally did it. So they were kind of like last man out. They had to come up with a different way of doing it, and the way they came up with kind of sucked, right? So they do work though, and I took these all apart, cleaned the little boards on the back, which is the main problem that they have, and got them where they're nice and clean and they fall and set back up perfectly. So on this particular game, the drop targets are very nice, very, very nice. All right, so let's play for scores. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Notice too that they have coded the drop target. I mean the pop bumpers for the lights to move on the pop bumpers, but I'm not positive that the score moves. I think it's just for show because it doesn't say anything about the lit pop bumper being worth more points, and plus it wouldn't really matter because when the ball gets up there, it's going to hit all 3 pop bumpers anyway. So I think it's just for show. When you hit the spinner, the lights go around on the pop bumpers. Boy, I did something good. See the speed on this thing? I mean, it's not a bad little machine. Look at that. And the noise that keeps going on, where it almost sounds like something's stuck. Nothing's stuck. It's just that the Williams games take a while to count off the score. All right, so I've got 146,000. Third ball. Yeah, if you go up that one, you're missing that. You're missing that rollover. And I've got it nice and clean and well adjusted. I think the ball is just skirting it on the right side as it goes up that lane. But when it comes down, it's not on the right side, so it hits the rollover. Oh, I missed it. Oh, extra ball, I think. Yeah. Same player shoots again. It says on the back glass, you can't see it. Because I got over 200,000, so I'm at 241. Oh, all right. And then I matched. So that noise was the match, and you're getting a free game. All right, let's play one more game. 241. No, wait a minute. 254,000 is my high so far. It's a very colorful game too. It looks great. See, watch how it'll hit it. See how it hit it? Now watch if I go back up it, it won't hit it because it's hugging the right. When you go up, it's hugging the right side. See it hit it again. But if you go up it, if you can go up it. Oh man, I knew that was going to happen. You can see it coming sometimes. Hit it again. What a satisfying spinner shot. Whoop, about lost it. Woo! Oh, right out the out lane. All right, last ball. Oh. Very cool. That is Williams Tri-Zone, a real blast from the past. 1979 called, and this is what it sounded like on the phone. How cool is that? I really like it. I wish the back glass was in mint condition, but maybe we're asking for too much to want one in mint condition. I wonder if I can get a, I guess I don't think I can get the, oh yeah, I can almost get the angle where you can get the Christmas tree reflection on the back glass. Look at that. Cool mirrored back glass. Tri-Zone. This one didn't have hardly any battery corrosion or anything, so by updating it, you know, just servicing the board and stuff, and fixing what needed fixed, and we put a remote battery holder on it and all of that. There's no reason this game shouldn't stay around, you know. So this thing's 40 years old, and it's not going anywhere. I mean, it's still working great. As you can see, it has all the original boards. We didn't even put LED displays in it yet. If you watch that display video that we did, we kind of hobbled together enough displays to get this one working right, and as you can see, we got them all glued back together right, and they look fantastic. But this is one of those games where it's kind of a sleeper. Like it's a fairly plain game. It's not one that you may have even ever heard of, you know, but it's pretty. You just saw us play it. It's a pretty solid game. It's well designed. There's really nothing that wasn't designed right about it. It doesn't have any major flaws or anything. Yeah, looks good. So, cool. All right, now by the time you see this video, Tri-Zone may have flown off to someone else's game room. We may not even have it available for sale anymore. But never fret. You can see everything that we do have available right now on our website. Go to lionsarcade.com. Check it out. It's always up to date. So we got all of our games. Every time we get one fixed, like I just fixed this one. I took pictures of it. I'm putting it up on the website tonight. Every time we get one fixed, we put it up live. As soon as we sell one, we take it down off of it. So it's always up to date. You can check that out. Or if you're local, you can stop by and see us. We're in downtown Rock Hill, South Carolina. And we've got a building with about 50 arcade games and pinball machines and stuff in it. We're a little heavy on pinballs right now. Usually we only have one or two in, but right now we got a bunch of them, which is cool. So you can stop by and see us. Now, if you can't come by because you don't live anywhere near here, and you don't want to buy one because you're not ready for the commitment, we understand. Just subscribe to us here on YouTube, and every time we film one of these videos, it'll let you know, hey, look, Joe's Video Games, Lions Arcade, has a new video out for you. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. And leave your comments below. Now, if you're watching this on a streaming device like your TV or something, you can still give us a thumbs up if you play around with the remote down below the video. And you can still subscribe to us if you play around with the things that it says down under the video. Somewhere down there it says subscribe and thumbs up. But leave your comments below. Let us know what you think about it. Do you remember playing this one back in the day? Have you, do you have any fond memories of playing it down at the Rib Shack, Steve's Rib Shack in Ottawa or something back in the day? We love hearing stories like that. So let us know what you think of it, what you remember about it if you remember it, and we try to respond to most of the comments. We will see you on the next video. This is Williams 1979 Tri-Zone Pinball.